and welcome to Big Bore Knife and Gear. Today we're talking Spyderco, and all 5 of these beauties are on loan to me from my brother from another, Mr. Lee, also known as BamaKnifeGuy. He sent me a few of them to check out, and I've handled and carried all 5 of these, and I gotta tell you, all 5 knives are fantastic. Really, really nice. And out of these 5, I'm going to do a review on one because it was my personal favorite. This PM2, absolutely fantastic. I see what all the fuss is about in this PM line. Fantastic knife. Techno 2, absolute little workhorse. Compact, thick, beautiful knife. Techno 1, very similar in design, even thicker. This thing is just a chunky little tank. Gorgeous knife. We're going to move those out of the way. Even though they're fantastic, and I love them, in my big old hands, wasn't too comfortable after a while. Just didn't feel right. The smock, absolutely fantastic. Loved this knife. Absolutely loved this knife. Spyderco, in my opinion, killed it on this knife. Design, function, form, it's fantastic. Flipper tab, push button lock release, absolutely gorgeous. That blade shape, you cannot beat that blade shape. That kind of sheep's foot, reverse tanto, modified Warncliffe, whatever you want to call it. It is a fantastic design. This thing has a beautiful hollow ground blade. This thing is basically a straight razor. Fits very well in my hand. Absolutely fantastic. That leaves us with one. My personal favorite. The Yojimbo 2. This knife is amazing. And yes, I spoke slow because this thing has just blown me away. Continues to impress me. Super smooth action with that compression lock. Super easy deployment. Whoops. As I say that, I screw it up. This knife is built for my hand. It's probably built for everybody's hand. It just feels natural. It locks in. There's no way this thing is coming loose. Again, another Warncliffe style design. The way it fits this way, fantastic. You can actually, without moving your grip from here, you can move up and just really, really lock it into your hand for some fine slicing work. Just great. Absolutely fantastic. I know why this knife was designed originally. This is pretty much a self-defense design, but it has uses every day for whatever you want. Cutting, slicing, opening boxes, cutting cardboard, you name it. Also has a beautifully, beautifully done hollow grind on there. It has an insanely, insanely sharp, fine, pointy tip. That would be the only thing I can think of that would fail on this knife for some reason. You'd probably snap that tip off if you were using it like you shouldn't. But other than that, absolutely gorgeous. So, one of the reasons I'm doing this, besides the fact that I absolutely love this knife, take a look at this. Nice black scales, silver hardware. Look at that. Missing a screw. Missing a screw. So what I've decided to do before I send these off is do a little upgrade for my buddy Bama for letting me borrow these knives. So this is going to be like a 3-part video. I'm going to edit it all together. We are going to take all of this hardware, the screws, scale screws, pivot screws, clip screws, barrel back spacers. We're going to remove this knife, get all that off of there, and I'm going to install some custom-made titanium screws and barrel pins for this from Adrian. I don't know if he's from Australia or New Zealand, but one of those. He goes by XXX, Adrenaline XXX on Instagram. He does have an Etsy store, and that dude does fantastic work. So stick around. I'm going to get this knife apart. We're going to reassemble it with the good stuff, and then I'm going to send this back to my buddy Lee. Okay, so as you can see, I now have all the new hardware and screws put out. I'm going to get ready to disassemble this, but just for comparison again. Silver and black, and wait for it. Look at that beautiful blue, purple, blurple, whatever you want to call it. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. This thing is gonna pop like no other. So let's get this thing started. First, we're going to take a few of, we'll start with this side because the clip has to come off. We'll take the clip off first, and then we can access the rest of the screw that's underneath for the scales. So there's 3 sizes on here. The pocket clip is a T6, Torx bit T6. The scale screws are a T8, and the pivot screws are a T10. So let's get one of these scales off, or scale screws off. Oh man, this one's tight. That one's good. That one's good. This one's just going to spin because it's missing the screw on the other side, and the barrel spacers are threaded on both sides. And this one is very, very tight. Alright, there we go. So to save some time, we're going to cut down and come back when it's disassembled and back together. So stick around. Ooh. And welcome back, folks. Here we got the finished product all put back together. Let's check this out. Look at that. Look how gorgeous that looks. Fantastic. Absolutely beautiful knife. Guys, I can't say enough good things about, one, BamaKnifeGuy. Awesome human being. Very honored to call him a friend. Look at that. Man. And 2, you really need to check out Adrian over at XXX Adrenaline XXX. The guy does some really beautiful, beautiful work. I'll leave a link in the description below for Adrian as well. He doesn't just do Spyderco or just this model. He does custom hardware for a lot of stuff. Anyhow, that's it for today. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment because I love the feedback. And until next time, take care.